What is up, guys, and welcome to the Meeple Minded Podcast, the podcast where we talk all things tabletop gaming. My name is Jason.
And I'm James.
And I'm Ant.
How are you doing this week, guys?
Good.
Good.
Yeah? We're back from Expo, right?
We are.
It's been a busy week. We've had a few days to recuperate.
We have.
But I'm already getting you back to work.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Because, you know, slave master and all that kind of stuff. But yes, it was a very busy Expo, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I think my feet still haven't quite recovered from all that walking.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. I've got, despite the fact that I follow my own advice, having a nice new pair of shoes that I broke in before Expo, I've managed to gain at least 4 blisters, which have all popped, and has been unbearable while working. But you know, life is what life does, and yeah, we live with it.
It's like, for me, it's like I buy the trainers with the memory sole insoles, memory foam insoles on them. And it's just because you spend most of the day on your feet, and it's like, after day 3, you're just sort of like, ow.
Yeah.
As soon as you sit down or like take the weight off your feet, and you're like, ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, it is horrible sometimes. I will say, even getting back to the hotel at night, just be like, take your shoes off, and then suddenly your feet swell to like double the size. I'm like, that's not meant to happen. But yeah, what about you, Ant? Did you have a good time?
I did, and I think my feet started to hurt 2 hours into Friday, as I had to buy so much, and then I had to go to the hotel. What was it, by 11 o'clock to dump it all back because my feet were killing me carrying so much stuff around. So
Zero control, sir. Zero,
absolutely zero. I tried.
Touch wood, I managed to not spend too much. Not that I didn't spend a lot, but I didn't spend too much.
You held out till the Sunday, though. I don't know how you did that, honestly.
It's just with how busy we were, but obviously we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute.
Yeah.
Because obviously we have been playing a lot of games. Luckily, because, you know, we were at Expo, so we've been worrying if we weren't playing games. So, yeah, we'll have a little bit of chat about our views, our opinions, and our experiences of Expo in just a little while. But let's talk about some games that we've played in the past week while we were at Expo, or even before that, should you so wish. Who wants to go first, highlighting a game?
I can go first.
Okay, let's go.
So one of the games I purchased and then we played, or gave a try at least, was the Lord of the Rings trick-taking game.
Yes, we did. That was...
It's been out
literally called the trick.
It's actually called that game, yeah. And it has been out for a while, and I thought I'll just wait and hold out for Expo, because I know it'll be there and whatnot, but it's one of those ones that's been talked about since the beginning of the year, seen quite a bit. And big Lord of the Rings fan, so it made sense to pick up a copy and give it a try. And it's quite fun, to be honest.
It is, yeah. Little mini campaign sort of type deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite easy to play as well once you know what the Trump side is with what ring is the Trump and whatnot. And it's actually just quite easy to play, to be honest. And then you just go through chapter. And I believe there's like 19 chapters in just one box, and this like small box, tiny box. Best 20 quid you could ever spend, really. Yeah, it's not too bad at all.
Yeah, no, it's genuinely it was a fun game to play. I think all 3 of us played a little bit of that. We didn't do the whole 19.
No, I think we did like the first 3-4 chapters, wasn't it? So, but yeah, there's definitely one that was worth the wait in the end for me. Yeah.
Somehow we managed to get a couple of rules wrong in the very first play, and then we went back and replayed it, didn't we?
Because we thought that was a bit too easy. So we just checked last minute and it was like, no, okay, let's go back and redo it and make it more fair.
Exactly. So that was really, really good. Great.
You just love it when that happens. This game seems too easy. Oh, it's because we're cheating.
Yeah. It just seems way too easy. But we wasn't too sure because it was chapter 1. Maybe it's too easy to get you into the game, maybe.
Of course,
that wasn't the case, obviously. So, yeah.
No, that's fair. But yeah, really, really enjoyed that, James. Did you have any particular thoughts about it?
Well,
you've not had a super experience with trick-taking games, have you?
No.
There's a few, but not many.
So I wouldn't say they're like particularly high up on my list of things that I enjoy playing. Like I do play them, but I just think there are better card game mechanics than
100%
trick takers.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it wasn't not enjoyable.
Yeah.
And obviously I love the Lord of the Rings theme, so that helped.
The artwork in that game is absolutely stunning.
Very interesting.
Yes,
very interesting.
It's like not comic book.
It looks like if they
word.
were like a a stained glass.
Yeah, I'm literally about to say it's like
stained glass, that kind of stuff.
It.
Yeah. Really, really like the art on it, I must say. Huge fan of that. And I definitely want to try the entire game if we can at some point.
100%, yeah.
I get the feeling that you kind of want to play that one in one evening.
Yeah,
so you're sort of you get in a role, but I also think that it might get a bit
samey
for the entire evening. And we did highlight one thing, didn't we? Which was when we started moving on and more characters were up, coming out. We were only playing it as a 3, which means we weren't actually getting to experience any of the new ones because you always had to have Frodo.
The first 3 new characters are in,
Yeah,
because the chapter will give you instructions on who you can play, but then if you're a certain number of players, you have to be these players. But I see where you're coming from.
So we did it. I think as a 3, I don't think that game, sings all that well. But I can imagine, playing that at a much higher player count.
Yeah,
it'll be harder.
LA goes to 4, but apparently, I was reading the instructions. If it's a 2-player, it's done completely different. Yeah. So maybe that might be the case with that. But I hope. Like I said, we've done 4 out of 19 chapters, so hopefully it gets better. But once we play more of it, we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, I'd say thematically it makes sense that Frodo's in every game because he's the one bearing the ring, isn't he? So
just wait for that one character to play as Boromir, and you know his fate. Everyone, if you're a fan of it, so that'll be the way when you have to kill him off or something.
It has to be. It's Sean Bean, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. See,
Sean Bean must die in absolutely everything. But really, really interesting game. Is there anything else you want to say about it?
That's it. All good.
Okay. James, what game would you like to talk about?
Oh, there's a couple of choices there. Most of them came from Ant's pile. So, and on fire with the game.
I totally agree with you, James, but I think that's the perfect juncture, Ant, to bring it up, that it all came from Ant's pile. And none of it from your pile, James. Why was that?
Because I don't have a pile.
You didn't have any games this year, did you?
Nope.
No.
Shocking, sir. Shocking.
I was tempted. I mean, technically...
I know I said about doing Expo on a budget, but that's just taking the mickey.
It just means that... I can't believe the words are about to come out of my mouth, but it just means that I have more willpower than the...
way more willpower. I'm not going to deny that.
You were close, though. You were close.
I was. I mean, and on that vein, which nicely segue into my choice, I will probably go with the one that Ant beat me to the punch to, because I was teetering on the edge of it before he bought it, and that was Middle Ages.
Yes.
Good shout. Good shout. James, talk to us about Middle Ages.
Middle Ages. It's almost like a castle building game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Castle town building game. You start off and you're building up certain sections. I think it's from fields on the outermost, and then it goes, kind of moves inwards. So it's fields, windmills, housing, walls,
fortresses, army barracks, that kind of stuff, isn't it?
Churches, and then your palace, keep at the old palace at the end, and you have to build them up. And the more you build them up, the more they give you certain bonuses and points. And there is a bit of take that, because you can use your army barracks to attack other people. And knock down their walls and burn their fields, and so that's great.
And that was so infuriating, because you build it, and Jason puts his army up and right, that's it.
And
let's just squash this right now. Okay, I did that in the first round, right? Yeah, I did go straight for the military.
Actually, I believe
James did as well.
I believe I landed the first blow, and you retaliated, and I ended up with a wall that was about 7 tiles high.
But in fairness, everyone put up good defenses, so I switched my strategy very early on in that and went for the windmills, which you had 0 defense against.
Yep.
So,
and who thinks windmills would be such a deadly thing, right?
I know. Look at me, I beat you with my plane.
You to death. The windmills are the ones where you have to give him money.
Yeah,
exactly. I was minted. Absolutely minted.
But that's the simple. That's why I love that game, because everything you do, you just earn money regardless. If it's not for building that specific building, it will come down and go, oh, you actually get a victory, money for something else instead.
Yeah.
So, it's just so perfectly balanced. And it was one that I was like waiting like last year for, and I missed out on it for some reason, but they had it restocked this year. So I was like, I have to get this. As soon as Rob showed us it at Hachette, I was like, oh my God, you actually have Middle Ages. And he got all excited and whatnot as well. So, I was so super glad to play that, and actually turned out to be a really good game as well. So
it was.
Yeah, it was. It was a fantastic game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we played that on the
That was
Friday
one.
night,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah, we had Simon from Board Stupid come and teach us because he'd already played it.
Yep.
Thank you, Simon, by the way. And it did not disappoint. I was so want to play that again sometime soon if we can.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to say I did win that one.
You did, yeah.
And
I believe it was like a point or two.
it was a really, really close game from what I
For
remember.
you
It
or
was
James or
by
you
like
and
a
Simon, I can't
1
remember.
point.
One of you had a 2 point or 1 point clearance on
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, it was really, really fun, really, really close at the end. I really enjoyed the game. I think there's a lot of strategy that could be involved in that
Yes.
game. But also you could probably play that game without strategy. Like I think you could bumble through it because you have to take the tile every turn.
Yeah.
You know, all right, you might not be planning 1-2 turns ahead, but there is definitely an easy way of playing it, which is, you know, just I'll take that one. I'll take that one.
But that, you know, because you have to take that tile and it is turn-based, and you've got that scouting mechanic as well, where you can plan several turns ahead, and if you've built the right thing. I think it was the defense towers, wasn't it? Allowed you to scout,
and you can scout. That was
and you can
so
scout,
good.
so you can legitimately plan 3 turns ahead and go, all right, when I get here, I need that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity for some hate drafting in there as well.
100%.
But the fact that when you place your scout on there, you reserve it, but you still don't, because by the time you get your game might change, so you don't have to take it either.
Yes.
It's so good.
Yes.
Really loved
yeah.
it.
You could, to coin a new phrase, you could hate scout. It's like,
100%.
I don't want
Absolutely.
that, but I know you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very nice. So yeah, it's a really good choice, mate. Is there anything else you want to say about it, or?
I think we covered most of the bases there, but yeah, to echo Ant's sentiment, I really want to play that again soon because I really did enjoy it.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely agree with that one. So the next one, I feel like we might cause some infuriation at this table, James, because you and me got to play Star Wars Battle of Hoth.
Yes.
And we got to play it with Ollie of Asmodee.
Yep.
And also the designer of the game. Absolutely great fun. We got to play it off from the crowd so we could really focus on what the game was. Now, for those people that have played it, it is basically Memoir 44, but with the Star Wars version, you can imagine it being a bit more zoomed in on the battlefield. So, things are a bit closer to start with. So, you're straight into the combat. And we played a mission, which I hope isn't going to give too much away of the game, but we played a mission where we were playing as in the Imperial.
Yep.
And we had to destroy 2 shield generators, which were obviously behind the defense lines of the rebels.
It was very, I think they chose that scenario specifically because it is essentially
What's in the movie?
straight from the cut. The scenario is cut straight from Empire Strikes Back. It is
100%.
It is the AT-ATs advancing on the shield generator and taking it out.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Now, the annoying thing was because we were being shown by the team at Asmodee, we weren't allowed to get pictures and footage within the confines of that room yet, for licensing rules, but we could go straight outside and take pictures and video footage of the games that were being in the public area, where, of course, they had the massive version. Which, how good was that, right?
Please make that possible to purchase. I would be all over that.
Do you know what? They mentioned that when we were in there. The amount of people who have said, can you make this? You do realize it would cost like $3,000. And they were like, yeah, I know that. Do it.
Take it. Take my money.
I think they said something like they paid something like £2,300 to get that made.
I'd still do it. I don't care. Straight on the credit card. Done.
But yeah, that was a really interesting
garden-sized battle.
Yeah.
Thing is, I think when you actually figure it out, it was probably a 6 foot by 4 foot board.
Yeah.
So it's
It wouldn't even fit my gaming table.
It's a
crazy.
war game size.
Yeah.
It's a proper war game. But yeah, the miniatures they weren't miniatures, were they? They were massive.
Standees.
Yeah, really, really interesting game mechanics. Where it is basically a 1v1 game, but they've put new rules in it so that you can play it 2-on-1, 2 versus 2, that kind of stuff. But overall, still a 1v1 game. You're using cards to, which have like an image on the bottom which says which area of the board or which section of the board it can be played in, and it tells you how many units within that area you can activate, and of course activating means you can move that unit and then attack, unless, of course, otherwise stated on said card. Now, we got really lucky in our game, and I feel so sorry for our opponent because we were the sort of team and they were playing on their own, but they did have the expert help of the game designer.
Indeed.
Let's just get that clear. We were on the uphill battle. But yeah, in the first turn, we managed to move all 3 of our AT-ATs forward, completely obliterate an entire unit of snow speeders, and about half a unit of infantry. And then on the second turn, we managed to take out the cannons.
Yep.
And another half of an infantry unit. And that basically left the entire left rank all but
undefended.
Undefended.
Basically, we did exactly what happened in the film, minus losing an AT-AT to the snow speeders, because we've both seen that film. So we went, they need to die first.
They need to do, And fair play, there was 2 units of them on the board, and the second unit did some damage. They were very, very quick, which, again, thematically is absolutely amazing, right? And the AT-ATs, again, incredibly slow and cumbersome, but they dealt a lot of firepower.
Yeah.
But again, what I really liked about the game mechanisms of that was everything's done with dice. You know, the amount of dice you get depends on the amount of firepower that it has, but all units use the same dice. So if you're shooting with an infantry unit, granted, you're probably only going to shoot 1 die, but it's got the same sides as the AT-AT does. So if you're shooting at an AT-AT, for example, and you are a rebel unit, you have a chance of destroying it. You know, if you happen to roll the perfect roll, I think it was the explosion symbol for vehicles. If you did that, it was destroyed.
No, I know of Memoir 44, but I've never played it. Do they have dice in that version then? Or
from what I remember, I haven't played Memoir in a long, long time. But yeah, I remember it being something similar on those lines. But yeah, I found it very interesting because that means the barrier, to entry is not difficult because it is a very simplistic mechanism. Is what am I shooting at? Okay, cool. What negatives am I having? I.e., is the infantry in cover? Okay, cool. That's a -1, so that's 1 less die that I'm rolling. Oh, I'm X amount of spaces away, which means I'm shooting long. Okay, that's another die off. That's your -1s, +1s, and all that kind of jazz. Whereas when you're talking about things like Warhammer 40,000, when you're talking -1s, +1s, and all that, you're talking about individual numbers as opposed to just remove a die.
Yeah.
And you might well storm up to a trench full of infantry with an AT-AT, roll 4 dice and not hit a single one of them. The luck of the roll, right?
Yep.
Very, very interesting. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for it to actually come out, I must be honest. And I think I'm getting away with this one a bit, James, because I know that Ant's going to buy it.
Yep.
And
the thing is, it's always kind of made me laugh about war game type games when people say that. Oh, how can this big stompy unit miss? In your example, it's like, well, you've got to use your imagination. It's like you've stormed right up to that trench and its guns are all on its chin. It's not just kind of.
Yeah, it's not going to look down at you.
You got too close and missed.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't want it to evacuate its oil.
Yeah,
at that point.
Oh.
It's in the film. Like Luke manages to take one down because he manages to get underneath it.
He does, yeah. But yeah, sorry, Ant, you didn't get to play that one.
It is what it is, but I hear good things about it. Can't wait to buy it.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And let's be honest, the game is called Star Wars Battle of Hoth. How long until we start seeing the other battles turn up?
Yeah, that was what it's like. Well, first of many, surely, because there's a lot of battles.
Yeah, and obviously this one's primarily based around Hoth, but there's quite a lot of battles scenarios within that box from what we saw.
Yeah.
And obviously we only got to play one of those, but yeah, you so know that you're going to get...
You get like a Return of Jedi version where it's Ewoks versus the Empire.
Exactly, man.
Come on, sign me up.
There's so many options there.
Yep.
And, if in the future they decide to make some more Star Wars movies, please don't. But
stick with the original trilogy.
Stick with the original. But yeah, if they decide to make more, make a game
it will happen.
Alongside it.
People just see Star Wars and they'll buy it, mate.
Exactly. So yeah, Ant-Man will be the one buying it, I think.
But I have to get the XL version.
I will be honest, I can see me picking up a copy of this as well because it's such a simple two-player game. Really, really good. But that's some games we have been playing amongst the, I wouldn't say we hit hundreds while we were away, but definitely tens of games that we played.
We played loads.
Those are just some that we've highlighted. I mean, how many games of Flip 7 have we played this week?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think I need to honourably mention Flip 7 because that was awesome. But the other game we played in that hall as well, which you bought, Ink.
Yes, Ink.
Such a good game. I was going to honourable mention
I'm just
going
to say it now because of the fact that this is going to make a list of some sort. But for me, Ink was the number one hidden gem.
Oh yeah,
of UK Games
100%.
Expo. And it was only there in a limited capacity. We were obviously told that because that's one of the games we got to try off the side as well. And all of the content creators that were in there, every single one of them ran straight to the stand to buy a copy of Ink after we played it. It was phenomenal.
It is great.
But yeah, I definitely want to talk about that a bit more in the future.
The difference in attitude between the two tables when we were in there. It's like, lots of whooping and yelling around the Battle of Hoth table,
and
as you would expect from that.
Silence.
Ink is one of those games that it is like you are hyper focused on it, and it was just silence.
Yeah. Other than when people were resolving their turns and stuff, it's that's a really good move, or you took the piece that I wanted you so and so.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that, but yeah, for the most part, you're just sort of the cogs are whirring. That was probably the most noise was my brain actually functioning.
Yep.
But yeah, it was just a really, really interesting game. Definitely be talking about that a bit more.
Most definitely.
Very, very soon, because I think that game is potentially a sleeper hit, actually.
Yeah,
I would say.
I'd go with that.
Because like I said, it's not widely available right now.
I'll be honest, I never even knew about it. Until you brought it to the table and you're like, I just played this, it's great, we're playing it. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah. I mean,
and I was just like flabbergasted, honestly.
That should give you an indication of how good this game is, right? We played it in our little meeting. I went to the stand, I bought it. I walked straight to the game hall to meet up with you and said, we're playing this right now.
And I'll be honest, I was this close to buying it myself, but I thought, better not. Jason's already got it. We'll just play around.
But yes, it did sell out because it was only there in very, very limited quantities. But yeah, it's going to be the sleeper hit, and I would expect to hear more, not just from us, but expect to hear more about it.
Like you said, and I want to reiterate, is like there were 7, 8 content creators in that room when we were.
I mean, just when we were in there,
when we were doing all of them. Straight out of that room, straight to the Asmodee stand to buy it.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, there's some games we have been playing, along with an honourable mention that all three of us actually agree on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm not really sure how we're going to do this because we're kind of doing this a little bit off script. I've got nothing prepared for this, but I think the best way is we do like we do most years. We're talking about it day by day, our highlights from each day. So we'll start with the Thursday. Because we were there for the press preview. First off, how did you find the travel?
Yeah, same as last year, really. You planned it all pretty well, smooth sailing, and we were, there. In fact, we were a little bit earlier than normal, weren't we?
I think we were a little bit, yeah. I think we got there about 2:30.
Yeah.
This time with check-in at 3, but it was nice because we were able to go straight to the hotels, and by the time we got there, they let us check in, which was great.
There's obviously that lovely moment where you get on the train and you get to see the dreary town that you live in disappear in the distance.
Indeed.
And realise that you're going away for a long weekend.
Indeed. So, and then as you start pulling into Birmingham, you realise you've gone to an even more dreary town.
But you're there for a good reason.
Sorry for fans who live in Birmingham, by the way.
People of Birmingham, you know what it's like. So.
It's very grey.
It's very grey. Lots of concrete. Very bland concrete.
Your accent just reminds me of that security guy. Step close to the walls, will you?
Yeah. Could you all bunch up a bit?
That's it.
Absolutely love it. Really, really nice fella, just for the record.
Yeah, by the way, yeah.
Fantastic. But let's talk a little bit about the press of it. We went to the award ceremony.
We did.
How did we find that? Because this is the first one we've actually attended.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Good. We saw a lot of content creator celebs in there.
Oh, 100%.
It's the first one where they've actually separated it. Normally, it's going on at the same time, and you can't hear a word they're saying because it's in the actual trade hall.
Yes, well, hence the reason why it's been separated. But yeah, there was some really big names.
Absolutely,
You know, I think we were stood right next to. I think it was Rado.
Literally next to us. Yeah, Danny Stander was just in front of us. Then we had Pig Meeple and stuff as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I think we all made the observation over the weekend. A lot of American content creators there this year.
There was indeed. Yeah, there were. We must have seen a fair few of us. Had Alex of Board Game Co. He was there. We had Stella of Meeple University was walking around. We got a nice picture with
really nice lady as well. She was like, I just asked for a selfie with her, and next minute she was just literally chatting to me like I'd known her for years, asking me about my day, how it's been. It was her first time in UK, so I was asking about her experience there, whatnot. Just really generally nice lady, honestly.
Obviously, there was another UK content creator there. We didn't unfortunately get to catch up with because we all wanted to catch up with him, but. The annoying thing is, on a family-friendly show, I can't really say the name, but it's Board Game, but you can get the rest. It's a male,
It's a guy who looks like he lives in a pub but actually likes board games.
And it's from London, so they give you a rough idea. I'm pretty sure you know who it is. I feel sorry for him because I actually watched his roundup of UKGE the other day. The poor so-and-so broke down on the way to Expo. Had people that recognised him go past him.
And still didn't pick him up.
And didn't stop and like say, "Oh, do you want a hand or pick him up or anything like that?" They just sort of message, "Oh, just saw you broken down on the motorway."
This is almost my fear of driving to places like that. It's just that I can't go through that, honestly.
So that's a real shame. I'd just like to say, if it had been us driving, I'm pretty sure we would have stopped.
Yeah, but that was the reason why he wasn't at the preview. He was going to be there, but he broke down. So it was a bit of a shame.
But yeah, it was nice to sort of. Yeah, we didn't bump into him. We were hoping to because it would be great to have a chat with him. Even though he literally lives, 30 miles away from us at most. So it's not far. But yeah, loads of content creators there this year. And, medium, small, large, the whole kid and caboodle. We met up with so many of them this year. There's if you're watching the video, I'll try and superimpose a picture of quite a lot of the content creators where we all got together on the last day for a nice photo. But yeah, that was really, really good. But yeah, let's talk about the press event because that was interesting this year. We did so much.
We did
so much.
Got to meet some, a lot of game designers and a lot of new people that you'd already met some of them before at Paradise. I'd never met them. So for me, it was the first time for me. And it was really nice to get to see them and chat to them as well, whatnot. So, yeah.
Was there anything from the press event that stood out to you? Because obviously you had a bit more time to look around than I did because I was pretty much interview to interview.
I did. I was kind of bummed out that it wasn't going to be at Expo, and it was the horrified version of Dungeons & Dragons.
Yes.
They had it there. You could sort of like demo it for a little bit, but they didn't actually have it there to purchase. And I was kind of a bit bummed out because it's only out in July and we're in June now. So, yeah, I thought it could have been like an exclusive for UKGE, but but that was sort of one of the things I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
And then there was the Lara Croft game as well, which I was super hyped up for, only to find out it's a solo game.
Yes.
So I was just like, it's too big a game to kickstart just for a one-player experience. So I thought, no, better not.
Unfortunately, I because we were.
I didn't actually realise that was a single-player only game.
But you look at it and you wouldn't think that, though. That's the thing, very misleading.
And the thing is, I think they're missing a trick there because there's so many characters within that universe that they could easily put into the game to make it a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Or at least a cooperative.
Or it's like a game of that size seems almost wasted on one player, even if it's the other players controlling the environment, like a 1v all kind of game.
Yeah.
But it needs more than one player because it's just...
I get it. I do get the idea of it being a solo experience because obviously when you're playing the video games of Lara Croft, it's usually a solo experience. But I think when you're transitioning these things over to board games, you kind of need...
You need to expand it so other players can join. You can come up with something like a psychic or something. Yeah, she's had them before.
Or like I said, you're playing the other players in a 1v all play as the enemies or the environment. The setting off the temple traps and all that
so
kind of
even
stuff.
just the standard 2-player, like you said, what bad guys versus the good guys sort of thing.
Yeah,
It can be done.
Yeah, but it goes back to what we've always said. It's like, in our humble opinion, board gaming is a social thing, so we don't really go in for one players, whereas Tomb Raider, the video game, it's a challenge to beat it.
Yeah, agreed. So that was a bit of a shame that was a solo only experience, but
one more was also Popcorn. Again, super hyped up for that game and got to see it. It does look glorious, I'm not going to lie. I believe Board Game Addict said it wasn't as good as it looks, but still want to give it a try. But the fact, again, it wasn't available to purchase, because I think you and I were right up for that
100%,
straight away.
Yeah.
Again, you could demo it, but the demo in line was horrendous. It's like...
Yeah. The only reason Board Game Addict actually got to demo it was actually on the Sunday.
There you go. See,
he obviously entered early and he stood by the stand to get his name on a list.
Yeah, it's crazy
to be able to play the game, and that's going to be a big game, I think, when that comes out. And I hope that it is the kind of game that we're looking for. But I mean, time will tell, right?
We will, yeah.
Time will tell on that one. I'm still going to buy it. I'm still looking forward to playing it. I think it is going to be good, and I think it's going to be up my street. But confidence dented a little bit. But Popcorn is definitely one that I would look forward to.
It was good to just see it, though. Yeah. So
100%. My personal highlight from the Thursday would obviously be this year we put in the extra effort to try and get some interviews and stuff like that. Now, lessons have been learned. Let's just say that lessons have definitely been learned. So next year, hopefully, we'll be able to make that a bit better. I think I overextended myself by saying, we're going to do all these interviews and then we're going to get them out the following day, and we're just really going to pump the content. That proved very difficult to me, whereas Thursday night I was up till 4 a.m. trying to render those videos and edit out any noises and things like that in the background, and that hindered me a little bit on the Friday, didn't it? So by
Friday afternoon you were just shattered, dude. Honestly,
which was a shame because we had quite a lot built up for Friday as well.
I think my standout memory from the Thursday from the press event was actually, obviously, it was me running the camera.
Of course,
I've never done any kind of camera work before, so it's like I spent most of that press event filming you doing the interviews, going, God, I hope these come out all right, because I have zero experience doing this. And then the gimbal dying on the very last one. That was entertaining. But the camera just decides to go, what? You want to look at the ceiling?
Yeah, exactly. Interesting thing going on there. So James, obviously you've got used to the camera setup now.
Yep.
How do you feel about the fact that I've already completely changed it?
I expect nothing less. It's like, I'm comfortable with this. Yeah, it's not anything that's that. But the studio changes every time we record.
He does,
like, what is that?
Yeah. Lots of new things. That's one of the things I learned was, obviously, we tried to do quite a bit of it on the phone because it made for easier editing for me. It really did hinder us quite considerably. However, I was quite happy with the gear that we got. We got the new microphones.
We did, yeah.
Which went down really well. Everyone seemed to really like the...
a lot of content creators were surprised. As soon as you got the mic out, they were like, oh, it's an actual mic and stuff.
But it's just a holder. It's all sneaky.
It's very sneaky. Well, we got that from... it was Dave, wasn't it? It was like, is it actually a mic or is it just a prop? No, it's a mic.
Yeah, it is actually a mic, but it's not... The whole thing isn't a mic. It is
an illusion.
Ultimately a holder, but the mics clip on the top and stuff. But yeah, really, really interesting. The new mics worked a treat this year. They came out far better than I ever expected. I need to learn a bit more about leveling them because one mic tended to be a little bit quieter than the other, but you could hear both, which was fine. So Thursday was a success. We went out for a drink afterwards, which was great. And that obviously leads us on to the first day, the big day.
Yep.
Friday. Wow, what do we say about Friday? Where do we even start?
Interviews.
Interviews in
Me buying stuff and making quick trips back to the hotel.
Yes.
Interviews, more buying stuff.
Yeah.
Manically running around the halls in between interviews, going,
Indeed.
how many stands can we see before in the sort of
Half hour.
yeah.
Yeah. And in that half hour, we've also got to allot in transfer time to where we need to be on, I'm just going to say it, the busiest day.
Yep. I think that
Not the Saturday.
that caught us off guard.
Friday was busiest.
Was the hands down the busiest
Yeah.
day, in my opinion.
It was. And I think that caught us off guard. Let's be
It caught
honest about that.
everybody off guard. 100% everybody was caught off guard there. And I'm assuming it's because it was half term, right? We probably
I'm
should.
guessing, didn't you say they'd beaten ticket sales for...
So, yeah. This is an intro. So they did 72,000 over the
Of the weekend.
over the weekend. Now, I believe I was reading something the other day about the trade hall is now bigger than Gen Con, which is the second biggest convention in the world. Actual space, Gen Con still dwarfs, UK Games Expo, but actual trade area, the UK Games Expo is now the second biggest.
Nice.
No one's even close to Essen. I remember seeing something last year about 70,000 with regards to Essen, but I can't remember if that was the daily limit. I think it might have
I think
been,
it's a daily limit.
It might have been a daily limit.
Essen still wiped us out.
or
regardless.
something like that. So yeah, we're still not as close to those numbers as we wish we were. But there was definitely evidence that UK Games Expo is going to get bigger and might well become a hub for worldwide companies, because we had loads of the Japanese companies here this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
We were lacking a little bit on the bigger American ones. Obviously,
Within
Arcane
reason.
Wonders
Yep.
had to cancel
I wonder why.
due to whatever issue it is the Americans seem to have at the moment. But, long story short, changes were made last minute. Do you think it affected the show?
No,
No.
No?
no, not at all.
Hachette UK, their stand was huge.
Knocked it out of the park.
Absolutely massive, and they really did knock it out of the park. That was probably one of my favourite stands
Yep.
of the entire con. You had, obviously, they had a really good presence, a lot of demo tables going on. They
Yep.
had an amazing amount of volunteers. They had that massive version of, is it Spy Guy?
Yes. Spyro Fantasy, yeah.
How did you find that game?
I haven't actually played it yet.
As in, when we were looking at it, it was...
Oh yeah, I mean it was an instant buy because I was looking for Micro Macro Kids for my daughter, but then
Yeah.
I saw this and I was like, I think this will be a seller more. But then I think it's more drawn towards adults as well as kids, so that's why that was an instant buy for me. On that one.
I think Spy Guy is going to be another sort of hit, even with the adults.
Yes,
because
definitely.
It is very clearly designed and aimed towards kids, but from what I saw of people playing it, the adults seem to be enjoying it
absolutely.
just as much as the kids. But yeah, it's a game I want to play, but I'm just going to say it's not my type of game because it there's a sand timer, real-time games, finding stuff. So it's Where's Wally?
I mean, to be fair,
Waldo.
when we walked past it and he went, "Oh, see if you can find this," I was actually surprised that it was me that found
You
it, because
found
I'm
it, yeah.
usually not very good at those kind of things.
I mean, that was with a massive board. I can only imagine with my eyes trying to look at a small board. Like, I'd have to get out the magnifying glass, I think, to try and find stuff on there.
That's cheating.
It might well be. It might well be. But yeah, really interesting games from them this year. Shame a lot of the ones they were really pushing weren't available. Because
Tag team looks good though.
tag team, man.
Yeah.
It's like unmatched cross with like the old 2-player.
Like Mortal Kombat or Street
Mortal
Fighter type
Kombat,
thing.
yeah.
And from the creators of Sky Team, like who'd have thought? That's just crazy. But it looked good though.
It
does look good.
Obviously, Gwent.
Yes.
We got to see Gwent. That made you happy.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Gwent or how much you
Play Witcher 3 and we'll talk.
There you go. There you go. James,
Gwent,
that was also the stand that you were looking at purchasing Shackleton base for?
I was very tempted by it, but held off in the end.
You did. You did. But any other particular things about day one that you really wanted to highlight?
A lot of it is just a blur. No, I'm actually sitting there going, we did so much. Obviously, the Hachette stand stood out because it's the very first thing that was on the agenda once the halls opened.
Our first booking. Yeah.
After that, I just remember it being a blur, like we said, between manically running around trying to see as much as we could in between interviews and every 15 minutes going, it's very busy in here.
Yeah.
And everywhere. Like, I don't know about YouTube, but the previous years we've been, never had a problem getting near any of like the concession stands, the food things.
Yeah.
Like maybe a little bit of a wait, but not a horrific one. Or the shop that's in there, or for me, the quite sizable smoking area that's in the middle of the NEC. You couldn't move. It was like a sardine can out in the smoking area. And every time I went near the shop or the concession stands on the Friday, it was just like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm guessing either every geek has now taken up smoking, or there was a lot more people, right?
No, I think there was just a lot more people because it's previous years it's been busy out there on the Saturday and that, but not there might actually be a queue to get out there.
Yeah.
Busy.
Yeah.
And it's not a small area. It's the whole of pretty much the whole of the middle of the NEC as like an open air garden. It's quite a sizable space.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And, it sort of transitions me nicely on to talking about my main point. This year, we obviously had more floor space available to us, with Hall 4 being the addition. Obviously, they regained Hall 1 for the tickets, which I'm just going to say, I think it worked really well.
Yeah.
It was weird, though.
It was weird.
It makes me morbidly curious as to where they would have put ticketing had they not got Hall 1 back.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree with you on that. I'm not really sure where it would have gone because there was no other space. Unless they were going to sacrifice a little bit of Hall 4 for
possibly. I mean, they might have moved it around last minute, but I was just looking at it because it was Hall 4, I think, is the biggest hall at the NEC.
It is.
And it was jam packed with, which is great because, I think, I can't say this 100% certainly, but it definitely felt like there was a lot more open gaming space this year.
Definitely felt
more of a chance for people to get a table, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It felt a lot more.
Again, previous years, I've always felt that the open gaming hall's a bit of a, when you want to go in there, you need to get in there first thing and you need to put your stuff down and mark your territory, basically.
Exactly. And someone has to be the holder of the table.
Didn't feel like that this year, despite the fact that it was horrifically busy.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say Sunday and maybe even Saturday, actually. Saturday from midday, it was busy in there. You probably wouldn't get a table if you were going in there sort of 2-3 o'clock.
But didn't find people like previous years going, oh, are you going to be long? Is there any chance we can have your space soon? Are you going to be long with your game?
None of that.
Didn't experience that this year.
No.
Which tells me they had enough gaming space.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we managed to empty quite a few of the tables around us with the amount of noise that we were making whenever we played Flip.
That's how we play games, though.
But yeah, we had a lot of good fun. There was a lot of people laughing and joking about, which was really, really good. It was really weird, like Hall 4 or Hall 3A kind of spilled over into Hall 4 a little bit. Like
a tiny corner, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of the trade area ended up in Hall 4.
I described that because of the stands that were in there as well. That's the stuff that was there seems to me to be the bit that's usually in the front end of Hall 2. Where the stairs are, top of the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that would normally be there in that little off-cropping.
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't have the off-cropping, so it kind of spilled into Hall 4.
Yes, exactly. So overall, for me, the new layout, I really, really like it all being on one level.
Yes.
And one thing I didn't think I would experience was no matter what hall I was in, I just felt like I was in one massive hall for the trade halls. That had its pros and cons. One, because I quite like the fact that it all felt like it was one. but I lost my way so many times. And, you know, when you look up to see the hall numbers and you can see more than one of them,
Yeah.
it's like, well, am I in that hall or that hall?
Yeah, I didn't.
There's been a couple of reports where people were trying to meet up with people and they'd ended up at polar opposite ends.
Yeah, I can
of the
definitely.
hall.
I wouldn't say I had that problem with 2 to 3 or 4 to 3A. Absolutely, 3 and 3A. You'd cross the border between those two, and
Yeah, there's no
miss it.
distinguishing features
Yeah.
between the two of them.
But I think that's because there's no markings when you look lengthways
Yeah.
across it. They're all on the side
on the
walls.
sides, yeah.
So, and because of it's the top end of the rectangle, you're naturally inclined to not be facing the walls that have got the numbers on them.
Now, I don't know if this was something that because of the different halls, but I didn't see as many of the high-rise, like, advertising boards for the stands this year. Like, there was a few, All Play had
There's a few for the big dogs, wasn't there?
Yeah,
But apart from that,
but
it was-
normally you expect to see loads of them because that's one of the things you used to be able to do. It's like, oh, I'm by this one because it's right above me. Whereas this year it was just sort of like, well, I'm actually between two, and those two are about 50 foot away from me.
Yeah.
So that made it a bit more difficult for meeting up with people.
Yeah.
But-
Obviously we have an advantage in that area because we just look for Jason's pink hair.
Exactly. I'll stand out like a sore thumb or a skyscraper in a pile of hay. But yeah, I overall, like I said, I really like the all-on-one level layout. What I am going to say, though, is they've transitioned over the stand numbering from the original halls where it was sort of gridded and the maps were laid out gridded.
The stands weren't.
I will say now, that hall was not gridded because there was definitely, we were walking down an aisle and then all of a sudden you veer right and then left, then right, then left, then right, then left. There's like, well, hang on a minute.
Yeah, the
I can
lines.
see there's stands over there. I then go out onto this road to go back to then walk back down these aisles and the numbers were following the zigzag. So you'd end up with something like, I don't know, 3A, 312. And then the next stand would be 3A 517. It's like, well, hang on a minute. And navigating your way around trying to find specific stands
Yeah.
was really, really difficult at parts.
Yeah. If you're going to lay them out in a grid, you need to lay them out in a grid.
Yeah, 100%. But the halls were the aisles were definitely wider this year.
Yes.
definitely.
Massive thank you for that one because my God was it
They
needed.
had so much more. Yeah. Overall, they had so much more floor space. Those are the ones. It's not like they're trying to pack it in.
Yeah. And I wonder whether that's why we ended up with like that spillover into Hall 4.
Possibly.
Maybe they sort of said, well, we could pack it back in, but it means sacrificing
Yeah.
some space. Maybe they're just sort of, well, do you know what? It's a tiny little area. Let's just do it.
And it's like I said, it's not the exact same stand, but it is effectively that little bit that sticks out of hole 2, which is where it normally sits. So it makes sense that you've still got a bit of spillover on one hole to another.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Anne? How did you find the layout?
Yeah, I mean, it was. The problem is that the last time you had those dividers, didn't you, between the halls?
Yeah.
And that was sort of taken away between 3 and 3A and 2, hall 2. So it just felt massive compared to previous years.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Like you said, the map wasn't laid out as great, but if you're going at a certain way, you can just still get it all in regardless. Yeah. But yeah, it just felt like so much bigger. And I felt like it felt like more of an actual gaming convention. Like I've said previous years where we've bought a game and I wanted to go buy some card sleeves. I actually found like 5 different shops that were selling card sleeves and stuff, or organizers, or or inserts, anything like that. They were actually there this year. There was obviously a few other stuff that wasn't there. Like we mentioned about Zatu not doing the mystery boxes.
Yeah.
Tabletop magazine wasn't there. Good Games Publishing wasn't there either. So there was stuff missed, but they still managed to fill it up regardless with other stuff. And it was just really, really good, I felt.
Yeah, and I definitely noticed from our hall pictures that we took. Like I obviously took full advantage of the fact that the Japanese publishers were there.
Yes,
because I've been craving some of those games for a long time.
Which again makes a change because they never had that before. I mean, Oink was there a few times, but you can't have that one company just represent all Japanese stuff.
Exactly. So Oink are a different beast altogether.
Yeah,
they are a worldwide company. Whereas, the likes of Sashi and Sashi, yes, they have games all over the world, but that's mainly because people will pay the money to import them.
And
whereas
nice
to actually have them there,
exactly.
I got to meet Sashi. I got to meet the artist as well. I can't remember the name, nor would I be able to pronounce it, but I'd never be able to do that because chances are I'm never going to get to go to Japan, despite the fact that it is on my bucket list to do. So it was really good to have that variety this year, and I can only sit here and hope that next year, it's the 20th anniversary of UK Games Expo next year. I can only assume and hope that they're going to get bigger and better, and we're going to attract even more of those publishers, bringing those games that we wouldn't otherwise see.
Yep. I do wonder, because you've obviously highlighted the Japanese publishers there as well. And off the top of my head, and I don't normally get into politics and that kind of thing, but I do believe Japan was on the list of countries they wanted to score these trade deals with the British government. Yeah. And I believe they have. So I wonder if that's helped convince them to come over, things like that, because there's a lot of UK Japan backwards and forwards things going on.
Yep. Yeah, you never know.
So I'm kind of hoping it is, because it's like, obviously,
I'd like to see that.
I'd like to see more of that.
Yeah. Yep, 100%. But yeah, so that will be my final comment, really, with regards to the layout of the halls. Is I think there just needs to rejigging of the stand numbering and how things are laid out a bit. But other than that, I found pretty much everything I wanted to eventually.
I still could have bought more if I wanted to. There was so much more stuff I wanted to buy, but no.
There was definitely a feel of, I don't know, you mentioned it a couple of times, where it's like, I swear we've been down this aisle 3 times, but I don't recognise any of the stands on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it is just because there was that much more floor space. It's only, I mean, technically it's the same amount of halls, isn't it? It's 3 halls, but there's just so much more floor space because of the ones they're actually using.
Yeah.
It just felt that much bigger. It's like, I'm sure we've been down here.
Yeah.
But we haven't, because I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. It's like, oh, look, there's folded space. I've been looking for them for three hours.
Exactly. I don't think we actually found them till Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they have a big stand. Yeah, I mean, that should give you a rough idea of that, how difficult it was to find certain stands. And that was actually in the area that I was talking about with the
zigzags.
The zigzags, because that zigzag made us go round the back of their stand. And to come back round, you ended up going down, past 2 more aisles to actually find it. And then they were sort of tucked in a little corner. And I say tucked in a little corner, they still had their normal size stand, but you couldn't see them. So yeah, it's the layout is both really, really good and needs some work from me on that one.
Yeah, actually, it's the stand layout really that needs work.
Yeah,
isn't it? Like I said, I think we all agree all the trade halls being on one level was a lot better.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Keeping the bring and buy and the ticket hall separate was, it needed to happen. Lots of complaints about the bring and buy. I don't want to talk about the bring and buy other than
when are they?
It's the 4th year I've been to Expo. Still never done it.
My mindset is still the same. It causes problems every year. Get rid of it. It's a pain. And it costs people hours of their day. Yeah. Yeah. Just sell your games at home.
My reaction to, there were complaints about the bring and buy. There's always complaints.
There's always complaints about it. Yeah, exactly.
In other news, water is wet.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
The day after Expo, my entire feed is just people complaining about the bring and buy, and I'm kind of done with it. I don't think it's worth the hassle. If you are happy with it, just don't complain about it. It's pretty simple. That's where I'm going to leave it. Anything else you want to talk about on Friday? Any highlights? Any game highlights for you other than
Friday? One more highlight for me.
Go for it.
It's going to be a quick little story about how I had to jump in for an interview very last minute. So unfortunately, this man was so tired and his voice was cracking that I had to jump in and do the Matt Leacock interview for him.
I am still gutted about that.
The problem was that was the one interview you was looking for as well. But honestly, when we were sat on a table for lunch and he was absolutely shattered. Only one problem was I had actually purchased a game and it unfortunately cut my finger and I didn't realize. So I had blood down my blue Meeple Minded polo shirt at the time. And this was at 1:10. Our interview was at 1:30. And can you jump in last minute? I've got blood on my shirt, Jason. All right, I'll go change. With bags of games as well with me. So I had to run back very quickly, get changed, come back and just make it just in time to interview Matt Leacock, which I had no input on. Like I knew what the questions were, but I had to remember very last minute. And then just, I believe it went okay, but I felt I could have done better. But it was just the sheer fact it was very last minute. But I hope we still got a good interview out of it at the end of the day. Still nice to chat to the guy.
Annoyingly, it's one of the videos that's done the best.
Really?
Wow. And Jason threw you a curveball at the last minute.
The very last minute.
I'm shocked.
And we had to do it though, because this was, like I said, the one of you who's looking forward to. We couldn't muck up on it, so had to go and change over last minute. Yeah,
I'm very grateful for that. As well as gutted, because it was the one even in the build up to it, when I told you we got the interview, I was like, I don't care about you doing any of these, but this one's mine. Yeah, I want this one. But you pulled it out of the bag. You did a really good job. Thank you very much.
And it made me buy the game. I wasn't actually interested in the game because I'm not the biggest pandemic person ever. But when we saw the components and the little Nazguls and everything, I was like, you know what? I think I really need to get this now. Yeah. So I'm kind of glad I did it, to be honest. But the very, very last minute on the Friday. That was my highlight for Friday. Anyway.
Very nice. Yeah, getting to talk to Matt Lee. He seems like a really nice guy as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. James, you were there for that interview. Obviously, you actually had an interview off because I did the camera work for that.
You did because you felt
that awful camera work in that video was actually me. It wasn't this idiot. It was me.
Yeah. How did you find the camera work?
Oh, that video was amazing. It was absolutely spot on. Bit bumpy, but you seem to forget how big that gimbal thing is, and there's there's such a thing as a table edge, which I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get really close on it. Oh, hang on a minute, it's stuck. Hang on, there we go. But yeah, no, it was really good. Yeah, it was very, very good, and thank you for
it's fine.
Jumping in.
I'm kind of glad you never got to do it yourself, mate. But yeah, there's always next year.
I managed to fully lose my voice over the weekend.
Did, yeah.
But luckily, 400 million strepsils later, I managed to regain some of it.
Regain it for his meeting on Saturday morning.
Which was good. But Friday was busy. Very, very busy. We got some games in, but not as many as we wanted to. We had something booked in the evening, which didn't pan out as we wanted it to, but we won't say any more about it.
Was it the Friday you made the rookie mistake just before it was the Friday we had lunch at the chicken shop, wasn't it? And you made the rookie mistake of getting the garlic and parmesan.
100%. Yeah.
And then had to run to the Londis to buy like a bunch of breath mints because it's we got an interview in 10 minutes.
Yeah. I was that was a great lunch. Oh my God, I've only got 10 minutes and my breath absolutely stinks. The stupid thing is, before that, I'd been back to the hotel. Right, we all went back to the hotel. I'd rebrushed my teeth. I'd taken loads of mouthwash. I was like, I'm really happy with this. Then I went and ordered that.
Yeah.
I could have ordered anything else.
Well, it was just the fact that me and Ant were sitting there with the red, because I had the barbecue sauce, I think. And might have had the same thing, and it was just sort of like you've got an interview in a second.
Yeah. It's so worth it though. Those wings are great.
I mean, they were amazing. That sauce is awesome, but it's like just before an interview.
Yeah,
it's a brave choice.
Yeah. So number one top tip, I would say for our
for next year.
for next year, do not allow me to eat garlic parmesan chicken right before doing interviews. Because I ended up spending half my gaming budget on mint. So lovely. But I've got nothing else to talk about on the Friday.
No, I think that comes Friday.
Should we talk about Saturday?
Yeah. Saturday.
Let's talk about Saturday. James, highlights for Saturday. We didn't do as much on Saturday.
No.
You had the meeting though, didn't you?
So obviously the getting to play Inc. and Battle for Hoth at the Asmodee event was definitely up there for highlights. But as always on the Saturday, I think my highlight's got to be the gaming, because that is Saturday.
Primarily, yeah. That's primarily what we do. Lots and lots of gaming on a Saturday. What about you, Ant? Because you managed to go into the halls a little bit on the Saturday.
Yeah, so I didn't really
get even more money.
I didn't really get to see all of the exhibition on the Friday because we were so frigging busy with what we were doing and stuff. So I got to, whilst you guys were doing the interview, that morning was the morning where everyone in the mobs was trying to get slated for fellowship. So I had to run to the stands very first thing in the morning and try and grab me a copy of that, which I did. But then, like I said, you guys were doing that. I picked up some more stuff and got to see the rest of it. And then I think we just gamed pretty much after that. So yeah,
really, really good. We were a bit old this year, weren't we? Like last year, I remember very much. Like we sat down first thing on Saturday morning. We didn't leave till like 12 o'clock at night.
That's right.
I think this year we took a couple of breaks.
In all fairness, you, like you said, you were editing a lot the night before, so you needed to have a chill out and whatnot. So it was good to kind of recuperate that, so you could game that night, because no one wants to go home early on a Saturday night, especially when you're gaming and stuff. So, but yeah, it was well needed rest, mate.
Yeah, and we got to meet quite a lot. As I said, we got to meet quite a lot of the content creators.
We did,
and
yes.
we ended up playing games with those. Obviously, I got to introduce both of you to some of the ones that I've known for a little while.
Yep.
Was that the evening that we were playing? It was, I think. It was Saturday evening.
We played Flip 7 that night.
Yeah, we were playing lots of Flip 7.
It was your first time playing it, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
So we've had that since Essen last year.
Yeah.
So it was quite weird how people still hadn't played it since.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were introducing it and telling them how to play and stuff. But what did you think of it first time playing?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah?
From the first game, it's like, that's my kind of card game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you sort of like...
I mean, it's push your luck at its absolute core. Right?
But it is slated on the box. It's the greatest card game in the world.
It's not.
I think
Sorry.
it is.
It's not.
I think it is, mate.
No.
I've
It's
not had
good,
one
don't
person
get me
say
wrong.
one bad thing about it or
It's
have a bad
really
good time.
good.
With it.
It's really fun. But to say it's the greatest card game of all time...
Stick around for our top 5 card games of all time, folks, to see what beats Flip 7.
We're not doing that list. He's giving away too many spoilers. But yeah, it's a really good game. But yeah, I mean, it's a bold, statement to say it's the best.
Me and James agree on that one, right?
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe that is one we need to do at some point very soon. Maybe be in the next one. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Oh.
It's me making spoilers.
But no, we
now.
did Sakura Stack.
Yep, we got Sakana.
Was it called?
Sakana Stack?
Sakana Stack.
Yeah, Sakana Stack. I finally managed to get it. I finally managed to play it. We played it wrong, and then we played it right.
Well, we played it, and when we interviewed the
I'm just saying,
the designer,
I was ridiculously tired when trying to learn that game, right? So, my defense, I should have been asleep hours before.
So thank you, Oliver, for helping him out on that one.
Thank you very much, Oliver.
But no, we were calling it the Scout Killer, weren't we, at one point? We said it to the designer, and he actually quite chuckled on that part. Because a lot of people have been calling that. But then when we found out it was just done with doubles and pairs, Scout has sets.
Yes.
So it's like, I think the game would be better if it had sets in it as well.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
In my personal opinion, because when you've got ones and double twos, you can't really do an awful lot with that stuff. So I think it would be good with sets. But it's still a great game regardless. I still really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Yeah, very good fun. What about you, James? Did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, I very much felt the same way Ant does. It's like, it's a great game, but it's like, there's too much. Well, I've got a full hand of cards, and I'm sitting there going, I can't do anything with these. It's sort of like, it needs sets.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Well, hopefully I didn't miss that in the rules, but we'll see. We've played it since.
We played with Simon.
Really
We definitely don't play with sets. But
we played with Simon on Monday, didn't we? Yeah, really, really good. So yeah, I think Saturday was. There's very little to report because it is always just gaming, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
There was something we needed to report that we found out on Saturday, James, and that was the return of the most important stand in UK Games Expo history.
That none of us had.
None of us had. The hog roast has returned.
It has, but it was, I'm sorry, and this is a thing for me, it was superseded by the stand that was next to it, which I did have.
They're great. Okay, so let's just talk about the food for a little bit. Yes, the hog roast was there. No, we didn't have any of it. But the main reason was when we were eating within the halls, the selection this year was so much better.
Yeah. So whoever booked those food stands, well done.
Give them a pay rise.
Can we have the same next year, please?
Yeah. Or more.
Or
more.
Variety.
I mean, what?
Variety is the name
Greek
of the game.
stand, you had the hog roast, there was the standard fare of burgers and hot dogs.
Which is usually the only choice.
I think there was a Mexican stand. With tacos.
Tacos and nachos.
What were the... Because that was just in one area.
Yeah.
There was multiple areas in Hall 4. Obviously, you had the roll-around Subway as well.
The normal fries and burger stand next to the bar as well.
Of course, yeah.
There,
the actual bar.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot more variety.
There was
on the show this year, and we didn't even go to, Chow Street or whatever they call it over at the Hilton.
Yep. There was another block of concession stands which we didn't go anywhere near in the ticketing hall. I didn't even see what was in there.
Yes.
No,
and there were about 4 in there, so it was more than just a burger stand.
I mean, that's an interesting one for me to have the concession stands in there, because it's like, well, people aren't going to be spending a lot of time in here. Like, they'll get
Bring 'em
tickets
by.
Apart from the bring and buy.
Bring and buy. They've been in
buy.
the bring and buy queue for 3 hours. They're going to probably walk straight out of it and go, I'm hungry now.
Well, in that case, they
We've been
need to
eating
put
the
them
queue.
right alongside the queue so that people can order as they go past. I think
That'd be a good idea.
that would be a very good idea. So yeah, Saturday. Any other comments on Saturday?
No.
No.
Excellent. Let's move on to Sunday. Because Sunday obviously is the last day. It is hands down the quietest day. And I loved Sunday this year because I did go around the halls. It was, games were still available, right? Obviously, there were certain games that were selling out every single day. But this year, all the stands were sort of setting out certain amounts for each day. I think the only one that sold out early on and didn't come back was Luthia Deluxe Edition. Even Fate of the Fellowship, that had a set quota for every day. And that gives people a chance, no matter what day they go on, they have a chance to be able to get the games, which I really like. And Sunday is probably going to be your best chance to get that, because it is quieter, there's less competition, and it doesn't stink as much. Because I'm going to say it, this year was particularly pongy around the halls. I don't know if you guys...
In all fairness, I didn't feel like there was any aircon in there at one point. It was quite humid and hot in the few. I mean, if it's bringing in 70,000 people the weekend, that's understandable, but just put some sort of aircon system in there, please, or at least turn it on,
Yeah, and arguably, it's some deodorant, people. Please. Just please.
Nerds and deodorant, Jason.
Well, yeah, it's it's not difficult. It's not difficult, and we don't really want to be supporting the stereotypes here, But I did find this year was particularly bad with regards to certain smells within the halls. But that is what it is. Unfortunately, it's never going to change, I don't think. But Sunday was the best for that. Without a doubt, I could breathe properly on Sunday.
Yes.
But what else did we get up to on Sunday?
We didn't get up to a lot apart from gaming and being extremely jealous of Dave.
Yes. So our mate Dave, who people will have now seen on the channel, because
Nobody cares about Dave.
He was included. Was included in our day one vlog right at the very end while we were having drinks.
Well, that's not technically true anymore. Now we do care about Dave.
Oh, we very much care about Dave now, because Dave is now the proud owner of a Geek and Son table, a very nice one.
Yes.
I won't tell you how much that Geek and Son table was, but hoo.
But he dropped down in price, hence why he got it, right?
He did, yeah. It was heavily reduced, so he got himself a steal on that one. But that's probably the only way I would get it, would be to steal it.
But you ain't stealing one of those tables. You get about 3 foot before you have to put it down and take a breather.
I don't even know if I'd get 3 foot, to be fair. Those things are built like houses. But yeah, very, very happy for him. He's been looking at getting a proper gaming table for a while now. So I think he's very chuffed with his new purchase.
He'll never get us out of his house once that goes up.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine it's probably there by now because he did say it was going to be quite a quick turnaround for turning up at the house. But yeah. So Sunday was more gaming, right? We did
More
a little bit gaming.
last minute pickups again. So,
Yeah, I did quite a bulk of my
I think you did
purchases
the shopping on the Sunday.
on the
I
Sunday.
was actually very impressed that you managed to hold out till the Sunday.
Me too. And to be honest, it's mainly because obviously we scheduled in so much for the Friday. I just didn't have time to go and really pay attention to the stands. I was noting where certain stands that I wanted to visit was, and that was the intention for me. Was Sunday morning was going to be I need to go to the stands and get the games I want. Unfortunately, some of the games I wanted were gone, but I was so happy to get to the Japanese stands and be able to get the games. So that made me happy, and it kept my case a bit more empty than it probably could have been. So
yeah, probably a good thing that you didn't do your usual thing, considering how rammed the train was on the way home.
yeah,
That what I would say. That's the negative of the weekend.
100%, and it's not even the UKGE's fault. We got the train home on Sunday 4:30, so it was after the halls had kicked out, and the train was absolutely rammed. We had to stand the entire way like sardines. I know this, it's not third world problems or anything like that, but it was very uncomfortable, especially after you'd been standing and walking around constantly for the weekend, to then have to stand in one spot for an hour and a half solid, with the train constantly trying to bump around and you're trying to right yourself. It was not comfortable. And yeah, like you said, if I'd done my usual thing, I would have had my big bag, I would have had a backpack and all sorts. And we were lucky to get on that train, even though we had pre-booked seats, which we didn't get, I'll have you know.
Yep.
Not great.
No, it wasn't. But like anyone from this country will know, it's like those intercity trains, they're not designed for you to stand up on.
No.
They're not. It's like they're not like the little commuter trains that run round our way that you get to London, where it's a bit of a pain to stand up.
But they're designed
so that the aisles are wide between the seats so that people can line all the way up the carriage.
Yeah.
Whereas
those ones aren't. It's a very it's like an old airline, isn't it? Where you've basically got enough room for those super thin trolleys to go down.
So once all the seats are occupied, you're jammed in the little compartments at each end of the carriage, and it's like, that was not comfortable.
No, not at all. And to be fair, like you said, even the aisles were full.
I mean, it's got to have. I was thinking when it pulled into after it pulled into Birmingham International, it was already rammed full.
Yeah.
It got worse when we got on. And I was thinking, when we get to a big station, and there's a couple before it gets to it's like they've got to be getting to the point where they're actually not going to let people on.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was definitely very close to capacity, if not already at capacity. But
the ticket inspector ain't getting up and down this train.
No. Which is a shame, really, because we pay quite a lot for that. So again, I would say lessons learned there. We've already had the discussion of potentially staying an extra night next year.
Most definitely.
If we are intending on getting public transport again.
Yeah.
But obviously that's weighing up the price of that. So
that's, I mean, like the deciding factor in that was when we did it my first year, wasn't it? When we had no choice. We had to stay the extra night because of the train strikes. There's like, the Monday morning was just beautiful.
It was
bliss.
Dead. It was bliss because we had breakfast. We casually strolled over to the station. I think we got the 11 o'clock train and it was dead. Absolutely dead. It was wonderful. But yeah, there's not much to say about Sunday either, right? Because we just gamed and it was quieter. It was nicer. People have calmed down a bit more. Gaming was probably the busiest part on the Sunday.
So yeah, I highlighted my negative there with the train. I would actually say my highlight of Sunday was getting to meet the German fella that you introduced it to.
Oh, Dominic.
Dominic.
Yes.
So
Neil Hope.
I'd obviously never met him before. You were the introduction there. Really nice guy.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And obviously you have met Dominic because we met him at Essen. But this time we got to really spend a bit of time.
Yes, he actually came with us for a bit as well. So
he did. Yeah, we had a few games with him. It was really, really fun. So those of you that don't know, Dominic is the designer of Neon Hope, the game that's recently crowdfunded. I'm not sure if it was his first time in the UK, but he flew over and he actually was staying not far from where I ended up staying. So we ended up getting the bus together, and yeah, it was good laughs. We had some good times. He absolutely demolished us at quite a few games.
Yeah.
But then was a good chat as well, like talking about the industry and the differences between Essen and UK Games Expo, and how there's certain things he wished that Essen would adopt from UK Games Expo, but know that they wouldn't. You know, like the community aspect of UK Games Expo. So that was really, really good. Very good highlight.
Yeah.
And highlight for you for the Sunday, and I guess highlight for the entire weekend.
It was so obviously Sunday was the gaming and the chicken tenders to take on the train. But one thing we did forget to mention on, I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday, but we met Libby from Patterson.
Oh, yes. God, yes, we did.
So hi, Libby, by the way. Very nice to chat to you. And obviously go check out Box Meeple's YouTube channel.
Fantastic channel.
With Julian. But yeah, she was just really nice to chat to. She's come over and introduced herself. I already knew who she was.
Yep.
And we obviously got chatting with all the stuff that they were offering. And then she was telling us about the new game that Patterson was going to announce and stuff as well.
The forestry game, wasn't
that's
it?
Right,
I managed to get a few video pics of that as well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, like took photos with us and everything. And yeah, just super nice lady to chat to.
Yep.
To be honest.
Yeah, I'm really upset I didn't get to meet Julian.
Yes,
I saw him, but he was in the middle of demoing a game, so obviously etiquette. I'm not going to go running up to these people while they're demoing. I was hoping to run into him another point, but I unfortunately didn't. But yes, very, very nice to meet Libby properly, because we sort of, I guess, met her in passing. Essen.
Well, yeah, we actually had an appointment with Patterson, didn't we?
We did, yes.
And then all of a sudden, we were just looking at cocktails, the new expansion for Distilled, and she just come over and saw us.
It was about
she clearly saw we were
before,
impressed, and just
Yeah.
introduced her. Just a super nice lady to chat to. Yeah. And it was quite funny because I mentioned to her that I bumped into her at Essen, but didn't have the guts to say hello. Yeah. And I wish I had done, because obviously she's just super nice to chat to.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a friendship that's gonna probably grow. I have a lot of respect for them as well, because prior to the show, they had seen the Budget UK Games Expo episode and actually tagged us into that when they did a games under £20 episode, and sort of directed a load of traffic our way. So I'm phenomenally grateful for that.
Yeah, but, absolutely. And Ants highlights game we're all looking forward to as well. The Cocktails expansion for Distilled. Looks like it adds quite a lot.
It looks like it adds quite a lot. I'm sort of looking at it, I'll be honest, I'm looking at it going, this should probably be a standalone expansion, but I'm really interested to see how it changes the game, because it looks like it changes it in quite a big way.
Yeah, because we didn't get a chance to play it, but we were kind of looking over, and it's sort of obviously Distilled, quite a favourite of all three of ours, and the amount of stuff that gets added to that board, I was like, oh, that's a chunky boy. That is
indeed. So that's going to be an interesting one when that comes out, and 100% I will be backing that game.
And a new custom map for him as well.
Damn it! I better get to designing. But yes, highlight for the weekends, guys. What would you say? Where are we going with this one?
I'm going to go with meeting all the people that I could have met previous years and got to meet him this year, thanks to yourself. Yeah. And obviously your experience with him at Paradise and whatnot. So I think that is probably my highlight for me. Obviously, you got to get some games that I was looking for as well. But I think just generally meeting all these new content creators and actually being around with them is it's such a good feeling to we're part of them now. Yeah, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's the highlight for me.
Nice. What about you, John?
I would go along the same lines. It's although it was very tiring, feeling like this is the first year we were doing it properly. Like we've slowly ramped up the amount of content we've done at UKGE, but this was the first one where it was like, it really felt like we were doing it properly. And the conversations you get to have with these people before the camera starts rolling as well. It's just getting to know them. I'd say that was the highlight for me.
Most definitely.
So yeah, for me, I've got a couple of highlights that I have to talk about, because one, I'd say the overall highlight, I'm kind of the same ballpark as you, Ant. This is the first one where I've really met quite a lot of the content creators from both Instagram, YouTube, the lot. It was really great to actually meet everyone, and that community has been absolutely outstanding in the build up to Expo, and to finally meet these people in person was amazing. I met a few of them back at Paradise, and to actually find how many of them live fairly close to us is really interesting. And I'm envisaging that we need to arrange more games with these people in the coming months.
Most definitely.
I definitely don't want it to be another year.
No.
These people again, but on the personal level, I talked to you guys while we were there quite a bit. Almost every time that I was stopped and talked to by just general gamers in the community, from people that had seen the videos. You know, I've had people talk to me about the content in the past, but it's always just been about the podcast. So it's a very niche thing within a niche. Now that we're doing the YouTube channel, and my face is out there a bit more, and you guys as well, to actually be recognized and stopped quite a few times, I will say, was very difficult for me to start with, because obviously I wasn't used to it. You
definitely got the deer in the headlights the first time.
I did, 100%. So the very first couple that stopped me was on the Thursday, and it's right after the ticket hall had opened. If you're listening or watching, I am so sorry that I couldn't talk to you properly. You were literally the first people that stopped me and talked to me, and I was actually with Oliver at the time, and I just didn't really know what to say at the point, so I'm very, very grateful. I do remember saying thank you and stuff like that, but normally I would like to actually have a proper chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, as the more people that did it, it got slightly easier for me. There was an amazing guy with his family on the Sunday. I had a good 10-minute chat with him. He was obviously inquiring about both of you as well, so he's obviously a very dedicated guy to the channel, so thank you very much for that. But yeah, to anyone that stopped any of us or talked to any of us, it's been really nice to have that, and we hope that what we do brings you some kind of joy, because it definitely brings me joy doing it.
Yep.
So I think we're going to continue doing it. I'm going to be really focusing more of my time on the YouTube. I've had a good chat with a few creators and sort of really streamlined my thoughts on where I'd like to go with the channel as we steadily grow. Because we're still low numbers on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
But we've nearly doubled our subscriber rate in the last sort of month. So that's phenomenal.
Most definitely.
To me. Phenomenal. But yeah, so that's my personal highlight. It was just
nice,
the humbling effect that the members of our wonderful community had on me. But yeah, so UK Games Expo 2025, it's in the history books. What are we experiencing, or what we think we're going to experience, should I say, for next year?
I can't believe we've got to wait another year now. Is
I know.
the thing.
But that's the thing, because we're not doing any more conventions this year. That's a tough thought to be going through. I mean, James won't know because he didn't do Essen last year, but for us, this is going to be tough.
This is it, yeah.
This will be the first time in well over 2 years that I've not had something to look forward to. But yeah, what do you think is going to happen next year?
But I think it'll be worth it. Like you said, I think you mentioned earlier on, next year is the 20th anniversary.
It is,
so something major or something big has to happen for it. I mean, you can't advertise 20th anniversary without something huge happening.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what tricks they pull out. I heard a few rumblings from a few people while we were there, and if they go ahead, watch out is what I'm saying.
And obviously, we can't predict the future, but hopefully, other companies like Arcane Wonders can try and make it next year. Who knows?
Yep.
But fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed on that one. What about you, James?
I think we're going to see steady growth, and I think it's going to be even busier next year.
Yes. Most definitely.
You know, numbers this year coupled with it being the 20th anniversary. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot busier next year.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
like Ant said, it'd be great to see the guys who were supposed to be here this year and couldn't make it come back next year. Hopefully everything will have settled down by then.
Yes.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. So yeah, I just see bigger and better. Is probably how I'm going to put it. I hope that lessons have been learnt this year, as we said, with regards to the layouts and things like that. But I feel that if what I've heard is correct, I think there will be some more teething problems next year, but it'll be easier to deal with if plans go through. So that's enough of my sort of spoilers or you know, leaving just a little trail of breadcrumbs for you to figure it out by yourself. But yeah, bigger and better. That's what I think. That's what I think. It's what we need. It's what we need indeed. So, shall we head off?
We shall.
I don't think we're gaming tonight. We've been talking for quite some time. So, thank you guys for joining me again.
No, thank you.
I hope you had a good year. I hope everything was structured okay for you.
Yeah, it was. Busy,
perfect.
but still great.
Yeah.
Mate. And well done for organising it, as always, like you normally do. So, yeah, thank you again.
No problem. No problem. I'll try and give you a bit more free time next year. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I guess until next time, thank you for joining us.
Before we do that, if you like me listening to, follow us, subscribe.
Yeah, he's done it.
Comment below. Let us know.
There you go.
What was your highlights for this year at UKG? What games did you pick up?
And he's more professional than me. Like, more professional than me. He
Had to get here
remembers
before
this
he
stuff.
does.
It was the same one we were there. You were the one giving out the business cards. I forgot.
All the badges, the badges.
The badges.
People coming up for
Yes.
some badges.
Yep, that was good. So, there you go. Professional bit over. Till next time, I have been Jason.
I have been James.
And I've been Ant.
And you have been watching / listening to the Meeple Minded Podcast. Join us next time for more tabletop gaming goodness. Ta-ta and goodbye.
Why do they sound like AC/DC all of a sudden?
Oh,
You
right.
Oh, Jesus. Sometimes I just kill myself.
You do. I am the center. All right.
All right, I'm okay. I've got this.
I'm so glad it's still recording because I'm blatantly going to put that in there.
Dun, 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 dun.